direct you to the vicinity. We are Nigeria Info.
Listen to me, I said this is a real situation and the government has to do something about it. What are you trying to insinuate? All these people looting Nigeria's money?
This is Nigeria Info, in the heart of Nigeria. 92.3. We are Nigeria Info.
Are you up to date with ideas for sustainable development?
92.3 Nigeria Info serves you opportunities
to ask great questions,
contribute solutions,
and transform society for the better.
I'm listening. Are you?
And now, Hard Facts.
Hard Facts with Dio.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Hard Facts, 92.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. It's 9 minutes gone past 3 p.m. It's a lovely Wednesday. It's the midweek edition of Hard Facts. It's good to be here, always. Now, the reason I like the Wednesday edition of Hard Facts is because of Canvas and Niger Delta Roundtable. We get to, almost every day or several days of the week, we discuss matters related to the development of the Niger Delta region, and that's critical, by the way, as we do discuss other matters that affect the development of the nation as a whole. But every Wednesday, we dedicate an hour or thereabouts between 4 and 5 p.m. to speaking deliberately about and to and on the subject matter of developing the Niger Delta. And guess what? This Wednesday, we're doing that also. And once again, comes up between 4 and 5 o'clock. I know I like the Friday edition. I think I may have said that several, but I do have a thing for the Wednesday edition as well. Yes, I do. Yes, I definitely do. And today we're going to be having that conversation also. It is another Wednesday, and you're welcome once again to the Wednesday edition of the show. Now, today, between 4 and 5 on Canvas and today we're discussing cassava business, adding value to people in communities. That's cassava business, adding value to people in communities. My guest, I'll be having two guests on the show today who will be joining me for the conversation. One of them, Shell's General Manager, External Relations, Igor Wele, one of the partners, one of the organizations that partnered the River State government in establishing the cassava, the recently launched cassava factory or cassava processing company limited in Rivers State. Also, I'll be having Mr. Ruben Giesen. He is the project manager of Rivers Cassava Processing Company Limited. Both gentlemen will be joining me for that conversation today. Several matters have been or have arisen as a result of this commissioning. Questions are being asked as well. Of course, it's a wonderful initiative, no doubt about that. We'll talk about how it came to be, what the situation is now, and what the short-term and long-term plans are for this initiative. And possibly, who knows, maybe even other initiatives that might be in the pipeline as well. That comes up in the 4 o'clock hour after the business news. Taking out still 5 when we've got the news update, top of the day at 5 p.m. And after that, we'll be discussing some of the matter. Senate attempts to remove disparity in HND and BSc. They've how exactly that's going to work kind of eludes me, really. Once again, Senate passes bill scrapping HND BSc dichotomy. It's breaking news, actually, so I haven't seen the details of this bill that's been passed or what exactly was passed eventually by the Senate. But once again, these are two clearly different degrees. I think originally intended to serve two different purposes. So when the Senate is passing the bill to abolish the dichotomy, because innately, there is a dichotomy. So anyways, to make an attempt at making some sense of the whole situation and what the implications of that might be, Dr. Austin Sado joins me in the 5 o'clock hour for that conversation after the news update. Headlines 5:30, major news at 6 p.m. and open season comes up afterwards. If you miss out on discussing any matter on the show, I will take your thoughts during that period till about 7 when we wrap it up. The Sports Gang will be in by 7 p.m. for extra time. All the action from the world of sports and who's doing what, who is going where, even though the major leagues are closed for the moment, but there's still plenty of activity going on. I hear Ancelotti is back at Real Madrid. I hope I got that right. I think I saw that early this morning on TV, but I didn't pay much attention really. So much going on. All the action with the Sports Gang later on. That summarizes today's show. Of course, I do have side comments coming up shortly. And yep, I've got a rant as well. The rant is back. Was away for a while, but officially returned yesterday, or technically returned yesterday. And I do have another rant today as well. That said, I hope you've had yourselves a fine week so far and a productive midweek. And you've been contributing your quota to nation building and national development. You're welcome to join the conversation once again. Now let's keep the ball rolling with today's side comments. Random stories, random thoughts that I came across as I checked out the news earlier, and a very important reminder that these side comments are not up for discussion at this time until later on after the major news at 6, when I'll take your thoughts on these and other matters discussed or mentioned by myself on the show today. Now, this was on the news earlier. A robbery operation, otherwise called One Chance, was foiled today along Rumasi axis in Port Harcourt metropolis. Now, this is after the victim raised an alarm as the robbery gang attempted to take his bag of money and push him out of the car. Eyewitnesses told our correspondent that a 3-man gang, 2 men and a woman, were handed over to the Choba police station. And let's hear what this person had to say. This eyewitness or eyewitnesses, that is.
There are 3 passengers inside the taxi with one guy. That guy was the person, they said the guy is a manager of a petrol station. When they get to this place, the guy was trying to drive with them. Unfortunately, the guy dragged the steering with them, and the guy could escape by shouting. There are 2 boys and a girl. Initially, the girl was saying, the girl among them was saying it's not part of them. I myself, I was the one that asked the manager if this girl was truly among them. The manager said yes, that the girl was among them. They have to lie together and both the guy inside gutter here. And they were dragging with the guy. So that's why the guy now escaped by dragging the steering with the driver.
This One Chance, somebody was run away from the other side. That was the driver. So he was trying to jump the fence because the man is healthy. We brought him out. The lady was with them. She now crossed the road and he was shouting Tifo, Tifo.
Now the victim, Sermon Ibrahim, spoke to our correspondent, and here's what he had to say.
I arranged my money to go to the bank. I discovered that somebody started shouting, my hand, my hand, my hand, my hand. Open the door, open the door. I tried to open, they say from outside. I tried to open from outside, they say from that side. Before I could realize, my bag is already taken away from me. The next thing I started fighting, they give me my bag. They said, what is that? They wanted to push me out of the car. I have to bring my head out of the car, and then started breaking the windscreen. From there, I'm shouting, I was shouting, help, oh, help, oh, help. Oh. Nobody was responding at all. God so kind, one time man just came and then covered them. And they wanted to escape. They fell inside the gutter. Then that was how they were apprehended. And then people came and started torturing them, and they were moved directly to the police station.
Couple of things here, in my estimation. One, I'm glad, I'm very glad that there was no lynching. I'm glad that there wasn't any mob action. I imagine that a crowd must have gathered, or very likely gathered, but I'm glad that the culprits, the alleged culprits, were not lynched. I'm glad that jungle justice did not transpire, and these persons were handed over to the police, and that's a good thing. And sometimes you do understand somewhat, emphasis on the word somewhat, why people want to engage in jungle justice. By the way, very clearly, it's criminal, it's wrong, you should not do it under any circumstance. Then again, people have lost confidence and faith in the authorities, in the police, in the justice delivery system. And that explains why a lot of persons resort to jungle justice. But I'm glad it didn't happen in this case. Now to the authorities, to the Choba police station, to the Nigeria police force, the River State Police Command, to the police commissioner, Ebuka Friday, aka the versatile CP. So you've had these people handed over to you. Let justice prevail. It will be extremely horrifying if a week from now or 2 weeks from now, one of those who was involved in apprehending these criminals or these alleged criminals finds that the persons are walking freely on the streets, this is what contributes to the loss of faith in the police and the justice system, and encourages people to engage in jungle justice. So I hope the right things are done. I hope investigations are properly carried out, and where determined is the case, prosecution is done, and if they're found guilty, they're sentenced as appropriate. And also to everybody else, do take note. Let's be extra security conscious, and also very important thing to note as well. He described how that a taxi driver who observed what was going on had to double cross them, and that's how he was able to block off the escape of these persons. So it's important also that we are also aware, and when we observe that something is going on, we don't quote unquote mind our business. You can't mind your business, because I hope it doesn't happen to you. But if you're the one who's in a getaway vehicle tomorrow, if you're the one who's in a one-chance vehicle, a robbery vehicle tomorrow, you would want onlookers, bystanders, or other road users to come to your aid. You would want that. So even if you can't stop the vehicle, you could raise an alarm. You could do something to draw the attention of other people to what's going on. Many times you hear that even a robbery is going on. Someone's collecting a wallet from some person with maybe a knife or something, or trying to dispossess somebody else of their handbag or their phone, and people are seeing what's going on. It's not done at night, even daytime, and you're seeing what's going on, and people just walk on by, believing it's not their business. No, it's your business. It is your business, because if you're the one being stuck up and someone's trying to dispossess you of your phone or your other property because they're holding a knife or even a gun or something, you would want other persons around you to raise alarm, to come to your help. So let's do that. Let's make it a point to do that. All right. Well, I'm glad this person is well. I'm glad it turned out somewhat the way that it did eventually. It could have been worse. Could have been far worse. I'm glad it ended this way. Let's see other stories that caught my attention earlier on today. President Muhammadu Buhari has issued a stern warning to those plotting to destroy Nigeria, saying they will soon receive the shock of their lives. President Buhari was speaking after he received a briefing from INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu on a series of attacks in INEC facilities around the country. The president said it's very clear that those behind the attacks want his administration to fail. He said the federal government has given the perpetrators enough time. He also said those misbehaving in certain parts of the country are obviously too young to know the travails and loss of lives that happened during the Nigerian civil war. The president further said his administration has no third-term agenda and will do its best to ensure elections hold across the country despite increasing violence. I'm particularly concerned, perturbed even, as to how the president's statement has been ethnicized. And I really don't get that. And if you get on social media, and there's a lot of disturbing conversations going on about how the president is threatening the Igbos. I really don't get that. You have people, criminal-minded individuals, obviously, who are causing mayhem in the southeast. And the president has said that they're going to deal with these persons, and all of a sudden, for some people, it amounts to an attempt to commit genocide against Igbos. How is that the case? Are the criminals suddenly law-abiding citizens? Are these people who are burning down police stations, killing security agents, burning down INEC offices, attacking even governors or their properties and causing all kinds of mayhem in the southeast? Are they suddenly our brothers and sisters who are law-abiding, decent people that we need to protect? I don't get it. You know, the whole ethnic narrative is just downright ridiculous sometimes. Now, has the president been maybe insensitive on a few occasions with some of his utterances and statements? I think one might say yes. But how is that so in this case? There are people who are criminals in the southeast just the way there are everywhere else. You know, when the president said that herdsmen who are found with AK-47 should be shot on sight, who said the president was trying to commit genocide against northerners or the Fulanese or herdsmen? So if he says they're going to deal with criminal elements in the southeast, how does that amount to a threat of genocide? I think the major concern should be that the president follows through with his words. Because if there's been a major problem with this administration, especially at the center, it is that more often than not, the president makes statements and doesn't follow through with it. So the concern in my estimation should be, will he follow through? Will he be the commander-in-chief? Will he protect the lives of property of citizens all over the country, but in this case especially in the southeast? That's what I think the conversation should be about, and not whether or not he wants to commit genocide in the southeast. There are criminals there, and criminals in Nigeria, irrespective of where they're from, should be dealt with decisively, whether from the north, or from the south. It doesn't matter, whether they're from the south, east, south, west, north, south, whatever. They should be dealt with. Let's see, is there anything else that I'm missing out? I do have to wrap this up in a moment. Oh, chairman of the River State Task Force on street trading and illegal motor parks, Felix Nwadibe, has denied allegations of extortion and harassment by members of his task force. Mr. Nwadibe, while reacting to a protest by commercial drivers over incessant harassment by task force officials along the NTA road in Port Harcourt yesterday, he said he's not received any complaints of extortion and harassment from commercial drivers. Let's hear what the head of the task force had to say. No doubt in what is expected to be, was always expected to be a defense of his boys, I suppose. But where is that? Okay, here we are.
All the task force vehicles are having numbers, and I made my number public. That's anything. Call me. Nobody has called me that task force vehicle with full number 010203 That this is what they have done. So
now, Mr. Wadibe, just because nobody called you to say 01 or 02 or 01 million did something, does not mean something bad did not happen.
I don't see it to be true. It is false.
Now, why are these people always in a hurry to say it is false? You accuse the police of something, it is false. Task force, it is. Then who is committing all the atrocities in the country, for crying out loud?
Obtain money for you. Call my line. Tell me that 01, 02, 03. These have collected money from me. Mention where you are. I will come there. So all this one they are saying from my motorist is false.
Okay. We've heard this many times. Even during the previous task force leadership or arrangement before Mr. Wadibe took over, we heard that very, very, very often as well, until the previous task force activities led to the death and severe injuries to several persons. I hope that is not the case at this time, and I hope that the governor especially, because the governor seems to do everything these days, will look into this matter. I really hope so. Before we get to a point, or the activities of this task force, before we get to a point where a special government announcement, because that's how these things always happen. People complain, motorists or commercial transport workers, they protest, they complain. Task force says it is a lie, they are all lying, it's not true. Nobody listens. And something tragic happens. Maybe somebody dies or someone has severe injury. And then what we see is a special government announcement that will read something like this. Special government announcement. His Excellency the Governor, Chief Barrister Ezebonwo Yesonwike, hereby disbands the River State Task Force on Street Trading and Illegal Motor Parks with immediate effect. The head of the task force is hereby ordered to submit all properties of the task force in his command, and all task force members are hereby ordered to submit all properties of the task force, including and especially ID cards, to the necessary offices. This has been a special government announcement, but terrible things have happened already. So before we get to that point where we require a special government announcement, which will actually address absolutely nothing, because it might take us only a few weeks or months before the task force resurfaces. Let's deal with it. And once again, what is wrong with having a dedicated, specialized traffic management agency in Rivers State? What is wrong with that? Why do we need task forces headed by persons who would deny wrongdoing, heading people who look like criminals? They actually look like criminals. It's been alleged some of them are actually criminals. Why do we need such ad hoc outfits to address something as serious as this? Go figure. I think that's going to be it for today's side comments. Am I missing anything? Let's see. Let's see. What am I? To the River State Police Commissioner, Eboka Friday, CP Friday. The good people of River State are still waiting for the result of the investigation you've been conducting for how many weeks now? Maybe even months now, on your crackhead boys that collected money from the Uniport undergrad, 150,000 precisely, and forgot their phone. You said you're waiting for bank statement. This must be the hardest bank statement to retrieve in the whole wide world since the creation of bank statements. We'd like to know what's going on. And also some of the other crackhead children who allegedly, more recently, extorted 200,000 from someone else. What's going on? The good people of Rivers State would like to know that you are actually doing your job of policing and ensuring that you weed out the so-called bad eggs, since you want us to believe that not all of you are evil people. So when these bad eggs do emerge, we'd like to know that you're actually dealing with the situation. Otherwise, how else do you prove that you are not all bad eggs, or you are not all in the same poultry, and the poultry is actually rotten and destroyed and needs to be done away with entirely? And finally, in my capacity as the self-appointed Senior Special Advisor to the River State Governor on reminding His Excellency of critical matters, Your Excellency, sir, we're still waiting for the your efforts to tackle the deteriorating situation with education, especially basic education in River State. And so much is being said lately about the billions, I think 20 billion that you're spending with the river on the River State University, and that's a good thing. I do hope that we see the result of the 20 billion at some point. But basic education is everything. Basic education is key. Basic education is the foundation. If we miss it at the basic education level, it doesn't matter if we spend 100 billion on River State University. And the situation with basic education in River State leaves a lot to be desired. For instance, we are lacking at least 10,000 teachers, 4,000 non-teaching staff. Those figures may have risen by now, based on the needs assessment you conducted during your first term in office. What are we doing about that, Your Excellency? Because what it means is there are children in River State who go to school or a place called a school who have no teachers, and there is no teaching or learning experience taking place there. We need better infrastructure. We need classrooms that have ceilings, that have roofs, that have windows, that have furniture. We need schools that have bathrooms, that have water, that have toilets, even power. We need to equip these children so they can compete with their peers globally in the future. Flyovers and other infrastructural developments are good, but education will take us to a future where we may need to demolish some of the several flyovers that we're putting up now. But if we do not prepare these children for then, it will not be possible. That's it. I go for a break. When I return, today's round comes up. Please stay with us.
What we do goes beyond bringing you the news. We give you a chance to talk about it. Your opinion, your voice.
This is 92.3 Nigeria Info, Port Harcourt.
Your number one news, talk, and sports radio station.
When knowledge meets action, information liberates. How informed do you need to be to thrive in a fast-changing world?
Listen to experts only.
Keep it dial locked on 92.3 Nigeria Info for the best of news, talk, and sports 24/7.
I am listening. Are
you? And now, hard facts.
Hard facts with Dayo.
Okay, Mark, still hard fact to 90.3 Nigeria Info, here in Port Harcourt, 26 to go before 4 p.m. I'm Dayo, and I'd like to rant for just a bit. I've got something on my mind. I've expressed a few thoughts on it. You're welcome to express your thoughts and mine till 4. Emotional intelligence. What is it really? Emotional intelligence. Well, quite simply, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflicts. Note the part where he said empathize with others. It's a significant part, a point as far as today's rant is concerned. Emotional intelligence. Also, emotional intelligence or emotional quotient is the supposed capability of individuals to recognize their own emotions and those of others, discern between different feelings and label them appropriately, use emotional information to guide thinking and behavior, and adjust emotions to adapt to environments. Now, there's certain key aspects or combinations or discussions or perspectives or outlooks, even definitions, models as well, to the issue of or the subject matter of emotional intelligence. And there is a mixed model of emotional intelligence which was introduced by a guy called Daniel Goleman. And Daniel Goleman's model focuses on something called the L as a wide array of competencies and skills that drive leadership performance. Now, this mixed model has inclusive, number one, self-awareness. Now, that's the ability to know one's emotions, strengths, weaknesses, drives, values, goals, and recognize their impact on others while using gut feelings to guide decisions. Number two, self-regulation. Involves controlling or redirecting one's disruptive emotions and impulses and adapting to changing circumstances. There's 3, social skill. Managing relationships to get along with others. Number 4, empathy. I'll come to that in a moment. But it's number 5, motivation, being aware of what motivates them. Number 4, the key part of this empathy, considering other people's feelings, especially when making decisions. Empathy. So emotional intelligence is very good. In fact, as a matter of fact, it's indispensable if you're going to be a good leader. And it's needed more the higher up the leadership chain you rise. Emotional intelligence. And if you note one of the definitions I read just a while ago, it stresses empathy. Empathize with others. One thing the Nigerian leaders fail to have is empathy. It almost feels like they live in a bubble, in some specialized cocoon, and they are unable to identify with what the vast majority of Nigerians are dealing with have to face the vicissitudes that they contend with on a daily basis. Now, when you cannot identify with the people's challenges, it's very difficult to empathize with them. And a seeming lack of empathy means you can't identify with the people. You have no idea what they are going through, what their challenges or sufferings or pains are. That means you do not know what problems they are dealing with. How can you then, as a leader, proffer solutions to these problems? Because let's not forget, the number one and maybe even only reason for the existence of leadership is to solve problems, not to go about in bulletproof cars, not to have mobile police and state security service protecting you, or having people call you Honorable Excellency and pledging their loyalty to you. No. Or you are amassing billions and buying properties all over the world. No. It's so that you can solve the problems of the people. But once again, if you're not able to empathize with them, how can you do that? Now, why am I going on about this? Here's a story from the cable. There are versions of it elsewhere as well. Niger governor travels abroad hours after abduction of school children. Abubakar Bello, governor of Niger State, has traveled out of the country. This was published a couple of days ago, by the way. The development comes less than 24 hours after bandits abducted some school children from Saliu Tanko Islamic School in Rafi LGA of Niger State. And by the way, that figure has been put somewhere in the region of 150 students. Back to the story. The bandits invaded the school on Sunday evening. They were said to have arrived in their numbers on motorcycles and started shooting sporadically into the air. The incident is the second in the state this year and among the series of abductions of school children by bandits in the northern part of the country. They had abducted dozens from Government Science College, Kagara, and released them a few weeks after. So, less than 24 hours, just hours after 150 or more students were kidnapped from a school in the state where this fellow is the governor, he traveled out of the country. Just hours afterwards. Now, in a bid to explain this situation, in a statement on Monday, Mary Noel Bridget, Chief Press Secretary to Bello, said the governor assured the state of the rescue and safe return of the students. Some version of the story in the Punch expresses it even clearer, where it was said that the governor has gone out to seek security help. But back to the story. To the statement, Governor Sani Bello also assured Nigerites that government will continue to do all it can to protect the lives and property of its citizens while guaranteeing the continued peace and stability of the state. So, hours after over 100 students are abducted in a school in his state, in Niger State, this governor thought it wise to travel out to seek solutions, security solutions, it's been alleged by his press secretary. Now, I'm not even going to the matter of videos that surfaced online as well of him partying somewhere. The state government has not responded officially to that, and I can't find any credible information that links him to that party after the kidnapping situation. But we'll keep looking into that, and I'm sure something will pop up very soon, because the video is all over the internet as to where the governor was partying somewhere. Many have alleged that that party took place after the governor traveled, after the kidnap of those students. I very much hope not. But then again, while I'm hoping that's not the case, it is from experience, it is not beyond what the average Nigerian leader can do. You have over 100 students kidnapped in your school, you can travel out and go have a party somewhere. But there is no way that this looks good. There is no explanation for this. It doesn't matter if the trip had been planned before then. About 150 students had just been kidnapped in your state. Except it were a life-threatening situation, I see no reason, no justifiable reason for the governor traveling out of his state just hours after the kidnap took place. His press secretary said that he left, quote, to explore possibilities of strengthening the state security architecture. Who did he go to talk to strengthen the state security architecture? He's not in control of the his state security architecture. It's the federal government's responsibility. If he should be talking to anyone at all, he should be talking to the federal government, talking to the IGP, talking to the chief of army staff, talking to the chief of defense staff, talking to the president. Leaving the country to go talk to who about strengthening security in his state? Just hours after the kidnap of these students. That definitely doesn't show a leader who has empathy. He should be able to identify with the people. He should be able to be on ground and be with them, visit the site where it took place, visit the parents of those children, be seen on ground to be doing something, not traveling out of the country someplace. The optics are bad. It doesn't show a leader with empathy at all. And if leaders do not have empathy, how can they really solve the problems and they claim to be trying to solve? On that note, I end my rant. Thanks for listening. I hope sincerely that I did not bore you. Any thoughts about it? Numbers are the same line to open now. 0817 923 0002 or 0003. 0817 923 0007 as well are the numbers to call. We are live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Also, you can tweet at Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp is on 0809 030 6416. Also, you still like to watch live, you can also do that on YouTube. Just search for Nigeria Info PH on YouTube. I do have a few comments over here already. I'll get to them at this time. We'll take a few calls first off. I've got George on the line from... all right, hello, George. You're welcome. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Go ahead, George.
Yes, you talk about emotional intelligence. And you also talk about apathy. And being...
Not apathy, empathy.
Okay. See, the capability of individuals to recognize their own emotion and others. That is why we elected some leaders. Okay, just imagine what really happened. That you went outside for you to seek for solution. That is the reason the governor is telling us. And instead of you having that emotions, having that this thing, for you to individually go to those various places, understand me, if you are supposed to travel for security solution, who are you supposed to meet? Are you not supposed to go and meet the president? So you want to find external body. And with the external body you went to find, can you mention the people? Now it is your spokesman that is there. Because they don't see. Education is nothing in Nigeria, and that is how they see. Understand me? Their children, they are outside the country, and they don't know what people are passing through. And this is the second time this event have happened in that space. I think our leaders should be thinking. Because when they don't think, they can't solve any problem. And we even elected them here for them to solve our problems. That is where we are servicing them with our money. For them to make sure that they gather our resources efficiently and effectively. They should do the needful. Because the children are crying.
George, great to hear from you. Thanks for the contribution. Emeka from Uweri High, go ahead.
Yes, Dayo. If the governor should travel out, I want to believe if he travels because of maybe he based on his own reason why he traveled out. I don't think anything is bad, but also it's net negative however he traveled. He cannot, if he has a official engagement. I don't think he needs to be in Nigeria because the people are kidnapped. We have been hearing of kidnapping, just like what you ranted earlier when you said when people allege that when Buhari say he want to want to use force. Yes, what he said is okay. It's not good to work against people you are ruling. But if you look at what has happened since Fulani Health killing,
I think you called it. Emeka, can you hear me?
Even when they committed
Emeka, can you hear me? Okay, Emeka is just calling it under the guise of discussing one of my side comments, but that's not what we're discussing right now. We're discussing my rants exclusively. Hello, Reginald from Eche. Hi, go ahead.
Yes, Reginald.
Go ahead, please.
Dayo, regarding what you are discussing, sometimes when most of us say that these governors are not really for us in the masses, it looks as if we are trying to discredit them or say something bad against them. It's unfair. It's not reasonable for a governor who is aware that more than 100 children have been adopted and he is going outside. What is he going to do when the life of the people he is ruling is at stake? What is he going to do? To me, if it is not a life-threatening issue, just like you mentioned, it calls for an impeachment. People within that state, the House of Assembly should call for his impeachment immediately.
Reginald, good to hear from you. I got Emmanuel was on the line, but he's gone. I've got another Reginald on the line from Uri, I think. Reginald from Uri, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Reginald, actually.
Yes, I said Reginald from Uri. Reginald, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dario. I think I'm sure you're not also putting some people out of context at this point in time. And Dario, mind you, I have to do this severally. I said, what we have in government are not leaders. And you just stated clearly that a leader is about the people. It's the reflection of the people that tells you that this person is a leader. It is different from a political jobber, political businessman who is in charge of the people's resources and is using it for his personal and family champion and aggrandizement. That's a two different things. And this is the bane of our society today in Nigeria. These people who took over since 1999 are not leaders. They are not leaders. So how can someone who his children does not school here, who is also a public officer, has nothing to do with our public institutions like the university or the school, how can you feel empowered that children has been taken? It's not his business. He is there to make his money. He's thinking about the resolution. Nothing. And I'm mapping out his foot soldiers that will go to the hinterland, mobilize the people. And unfortunately, the Nigerian people are yet to wake up. You know, I proclaim myself as also a senior special advisor to the Nigerian people on having a rethink about honorables and excellencies and worshipping those people who also bear them down, which is a politician. And until the Nigerian people begin to have a rethink, know that these are not leaders, our problems will not be solved.
Reginald, great to hear from you as well. Chris from Obiakpo, you're welcome. Please go on.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dayo. Let me talk about the condition we are in now. I believe that this is the insider and the house something that Mr. President will just call a town hall meeting to his brothers, because the people that are involved, they are above the law. You don't dare mention their name or radio station. You can't call Fulani men or these people. Mr. President should go home and call his brothers.
What does that have to do with what my rant? All right. Chris is, I don't understand what he's saying, because it has completely nothing to do with the rant I delivered just a while ago. I've got Wisdom AK on the line. This is business via Facebook, pardon me. This is business as usual. Before he comes back, MAGA has paid a whip for Nigeria, my country. Gospel Walker goes, I'm not surprised by the action of Niger State Governor. It shows how insensitive some of the leaders are. They're only interested in lining up their pockets. And Festus Wogo on Facebook goes, good afternoon, Di. The simple truth is that our political leaders aren't and will never take insecurity serious in this part of the world, because none of their family members are involved in all the killings and maiming in this country. I pray they have personal or one of their relations get involved. They will definitely sit up and tackle insecurity back to back. I've got other comments here. We've got several minutes to go before 4 o'clock. Let's see what's happening on WhatsApp. Not forgetting Twitter as well. Remember, that's at Nigeria Info PH. But via WhatsApp first off, Woyike goes, the governor has travelled out of his... Would the governor have travelled out if his biological son or daughter was among those innocent children that were kidnapped? This excuse of seeking external help is deceitful. It's quite unfortunate that our leaders don't care about our well-being, welfare and safety. We voted and elected them to do the needful in protecting and providing the social basic needs which every citizen deserves. The government has failed in every aspect of life. Ihaichuku said that. Also via WhatsApp, it's not possible for the governor to empathize with the victims because it's not an election year. I hope Nigerians are picking the lessons that elections have consequences. That's Maxwell from Port Harcourt. Even if the Niger State governor has to travel, must he be now? Why didn't he travel after the Kangaroo school children were released to seek solutions to the insecurity to avoid another reoccurrence? They wait till another kidnap situation happened. Why didn't he travel after the first kidnap issue? Insensitive leaders everywhere. That's from Timothy in Yama from Abloma. Commenter via WhatsApp goes, he went to prepare his home over there. You know, if this violence escalates, the leaders will rush out. These leaders feel no empathy. And still via WhatsApp, Samson Beripeli goes, you're asking who the Niger State governor went to talk to concerning the security situation. Well, he went to talk to the CIA. Really? Okay, that's fascinating. Now, even if he were going to have a conversation with the CIA or the Israeli Mossad or the Russian KGB or whatever other security agency or outfit the world over, you can't leave just hours after the kidnap happened. It doesn't look good at all. It smacks off a sense of insensitivity and a lack of empathy. There is no way to explain it. And saying that you went to seek help to tackle the security, help from where? And like I said, let's assume he went to see the CIA, as Samson suggests. Did it have to go hours after the kidnap? You know, I mean, there's too much. There's just not right with it. There's too much, really. Via WhatsApp, the same governor you're criticizing had earlier come out to cry aloud to the federal government and to the world that bandits and other terrorists had taken over some local government areas of the state. Your government did nothing about it. You yourself never thought it necessary to bring this up in your show because it's not politically convenient for you. What a shame, Dyer. Bringing an end to this inherent partiality and cowardice of yours. As in Chijoke Bruno. Chijoke is very convenient for you, really, I suppose, to wrongfully insinuate what you have. But that's fine. Chijoke, you don't have to agree with my position. That's why it's called a conversation, by the way. And the whole essence of this is to express, like I always say every time I deliver a rant, I say you're welcome to express your thoughts on mine. All right, Chijoke Bruno. Good to hear from you as well. Still via WhatsApp, hello Di, I'm surprised that you're bothered that the governor lacks empathy or L. I thought he would find out if the man qualifies in the first place to lead. These leaders are stack sadists and they're accomplices in the abductions. They use the newfound business to equip their boys. What unfortunate people. That's Anthony. And one more call. Hello, Hard Fact to welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead, you have a minute.
Hello.
Hello, you're welcome. Please go ahead.
Hello.
I will always pray for you because as a young man, you've consistently and persistently loved this country. I don't think you've benefited from this nation as far as its leaders do. This crop of leaders our nation have today don't claim ownership of this country as their own. Instead, it's their ATM where they can get whatever with little or no effort. As far as the insecurity of the country, it's not their problem. Samuel Oria Zowan from Elime sent that in. once again, the governor can decide to have discussions with people, whoever it is. Like, once again, as previous comment I read off WhatsApp, insinuates or suggests with the CIA, maybe even with MI5 as well, or MI6. However, you cannot believe in your state traveling out. If you travel to Aso Villa, maybe I'd understand to go see the president, but to leave the country just hours after the incident. And once again, very important to note, videos have surfaced online of the governor partying someplace. I sincerely hope, I very much hope that this party or this partying did not take place after the governor's recent travel out of the country to go quote-unquote seek help to address the insecurity in his state. But whatever the case is, leaving just hours afterwards doesn't look good and smacks of a lack of empathy, which is very much needed if you're going to be a successful leader. That's something we're lacking very much in the country at the moment. We've got business news coming up top of the hour at 4 p.m. That is afterwards. Canvas and Niger Delta Roundtable comes up. We're discussing the growth and progressive development of the Niger Delta region. Do please stay with us.